Right, so this is my bag of unfinished objects, and if I have a look at it and we tip it out, what we're going to see is too many bits. I mean, there's nothing really that's hugely busy. We've got some socks that don't have some ends darned in because I just didn't have the right needle with me at the time. These ones were a tube sock. Oh, don't even go there with that. These ones just were stripes. So just so many ends. It was Socktober and the ends just didn't get darned in time. On top of this, what we've got is there's my city socks. I've still got to write up that pattern. We've just got it behind on the socks. Then we have this pile of other objects. Here's an ear warmer that's incomplete. It's got cables. I'm not even sure if I've got the pattern written down. I'm going to have to check that out. Um, then we've got, oh yes, we've got my mittens. Now, my mittens are a favourite project from a while back, but I've lost one and I don't even remember if the pattern's correct, so I need to go through and double check that. Then we've got my embarrassing pile of, oh no, not quite yet. This is a pair of arm warmers that I just haven't finished darning in the ends of. I've got to check one thing because I was converting the pattern to be written flat, then I thought I might extend it. Then we've got the embarrassing pile of dishcloths from the dishcloth year. Basically, during the dishcloth year, I designed 12 dishcloths and I finished 12 dishcloths, but I didn't write up all the patterns, and then I ended up spending most of the year in the hospital with my ex-husband, so they just didn't get done. Then we've got a couple of little things. Here's one baby sock, and here's another baby sock that's started but incomplete. That shouldn't take too long to do. This here is, it's a pair of slippers. One piece is finished with the actual knitting, but the other one, it's not. And as you can see, this is a massive yarn ball. I don't even know where the other matching knitting needle is. We've got this pair of socks that are my Christmas socks I still haven't finished. I've got this low-key crocodile that needs a crown. I also have a triceratops in this box that needs a set of eyes. Yeah, and then I mean, I really like this pair of slippers, and as you can see, at some point the yarn's been cut off and tangled, but we'll start working on the socks. So the baby socks shouldn't take too long. The weather's nice, such a lovely day, isn't photoshopped at all, but there we go, we're working up. This is a top-down version of the sock. Here we've got to the heel turn. Isn't that cute and adorable? And the heel's all done, and we're about to go into the top ribbing. Then we've got not top ribbing, the bottom toe decreasing. We're so close to finish. Oh, look, a tiny pair of baby socks. Right, so what's in this bag? This was a bag of incomplete projects, and we're talking incomplete for stupid reasons. So I sat down yesterday and decided, what am I going to do? I'm going to complete all of these incomplete projects. So I thought I'll just go through the bag, tell you what they were, and yeah, in one day, this is what I managed to complete. So, first of all, this red triceratops, he needed eyes because I forgot to put the eyes on when I actually did the pattern. Then these two baby socks. Now I had finished one baby sock, but I hadn't finished the other baby sock. So this one was a toe up version and this one was a top down version. And I mean, the dimensions are the same, but I was just trying to compare. So I'd already finished the toe up and I'd started the top down, but I hadn't finished it. So I finished it and darned in the ends of these two baby socks, and now I can decide which way I prefer, write up the pattern and get it tested and things like that. So baby socks. Then I had these mittens. Now these mittens have been finished for over a year. Now the reason why they were in the container is that I had lost one of them. This one's even been through the wash somehow, because I've moved twice since finishing these mittens. So this is my mittens, and these are mittens where one can get one's fingers out, because while I was designing them I was working as a stargazer at night, and so getting cold hands but needing access to twiddle little things with my fingies. And I think it was Matt Pat on Style Theory that went through the thing about how mittens are warmer than gloves, so I was like, mittens, that's the way to go, not fingerless gloves. Whee! So These are in the pile because I found both of them and they'd been sitting there waiting for me to write up the final part of the pattern. So I sat down and I did that. Then I have this ear warmer. Now this ear warmer originally was going to have a polar fleece lining. It doesn't because I don't know where my polar fleece is, because again I moved. If I find my polar fleece, I'll stitch it on. I did try stitching it on with a machine, so there are little bits of cotton. This has been sitting in the pile for maybe 2 years or 3 years, because when I stitched it on with the sewing machine it didn't work very well, and I unpicked it and I meant to sew it on by hand, but then I didn't because life got busy. So there's this. The pattern's now written up, but I haven't put the polar fleece on it, and I've decided I don't care about the polar fleece straight away because that's just how it is. Polar fleece would make it better. It was orange and it was very cool. But I have made them with polar fleece in them before, but for some reason my sewing machine didn't want to work on this one. Then we have this pile of washcloths. Now the washcloths are interesting because in about 2011, something, on my website I started doing a knit pattern for a different washcloth every single month. I knit them all, but I didn't finish them all. So this is what I've got that will now need to be, I've got all the patterns now written up, I've got all the ends stitched in and everything like that. So the first one, this is a hurdle stitch washcloth with a little crochet dangler. This one I really like actually. So the yellow hurdle stitch one. This one was cast on and then knit and finished just really recently. So this one's a moss stitch in red. I think that was meant to be the December one, which is why it's red. I don't do red. Red is not my favourite colour. There's this one, which is based on the grandma's favourite washcloth, where you start on one corner and you go to the other. But basically it was using up the cotton ends of the other balls of yarn that I had made. Like this one here, I think this one was definitely the bumblebee honeycomb stitch. It's something to do with bees on this one, and this purple one was the first one I did, and I think I made a soap scrubby as well out of the purple one. And this one, it's still in rotation actually. I use it to wash windows because cotton washcloths work really well for cleaning windows. So the striped washcloth. Then we've got this orange one. Now this orange one is very cool. It's very similar to the hurdle stitch, but it's not the hurdle stitch, if that makes any sense. It's slightly different. I'd forgotten about this one completely. I had no memory of doing it whatsoever, but orange is my favorite color, so that was cool. This one here, which is a linen stitch. Now I really like the linen stitch. Like, it's just a really cool stitch. So my plan is, I've got all this pink yarn that I bought to make a singlet, and I think I'm going to do it in a linen stitch, because while this is a 2-color linen stitch, the linen stitch, oh, it's so smooth. It's just a really nice stitch. And then there's the craziness ones. Excuse me. I'm now getting a little paranoid because we're at a New Year's party where everybody came down with COVID, but it's over a week ago and I don't have COVID, so. But you know how it is, every sneeze makes you think. This one, which I do remember making and then abandoning because it hasn't sit flat, but it hasn't been blocked. This is just, I was calling this the citrus slice washcloth because I was learning to knit from the center out. So there was this one, all sorts of issues with it, but you know, it's cotton, it'll do its job. And then finally the lemon slice washcloth. Why does anyone need a half round washcloth? No, they don't. But so I finished off those. Mostly it was about darning in ends, stitching off the danglers, and making sure that I have the patterns all typed up and finding out which ones have been released and which ones hadn't. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 washcloths. Which I think if I post those, that would complete my one washcloth a month series. which is quite ridiculous because I probably should have done it ages ago. Now, these here are a set of arm warmers. These were knit in winter for a friend of mine, and I just forgot to give them to her because one of them needed the ends darned in, and I just hadn't darned the ends in. So those now have the ends darned in on those arm warmers. And then we have the real embarrassment, which, if we go back to October, we had Socktober, and I knit socks. And when I knit socks, I normally sit there and darn the ends in, but because I was travelling for a lot of September and October and November, to be honest, and December, it's been a lot of travelling, I didn't have a sharp enough needle to do the darning in and the ends, so it just didn't happen. So they were finished, but the ends weren't darned in, and because like this one here, it's 2 different colours of yarn, so there's twice the ends to deal with on the striped pair. The city socks, again, 2 different balls of yarn, twice the ends to darn in. And then the ones that were the reason that they all just sat there waiting to happen, these ones which were knit from sock tube, because of the way that you, what is it, steeking and cut the hole in the thing to put the heel in, and there were so many ends to darn in. Honestly, yes, it was fast to do the actual sock part, but I'm not going to do a sock tube again unless it's a really nice looking yarn. I'm tempted to do an afterthought heel on a particular design that's in my head, but I definitely won't be doing the tops and the bottoms that way again. It was just a hassle that was unnecessary. So in a 24-hour period, well, it wasn't even a 24-hour period because I slept and, you know, I started my day off slowly. The things I finished that I now have practical and usable in my life that have just been taking up valuable storage space is 1, 2, 3 pairs of full-size people socks, 1 pair of baby socks, 1 arm warmers, 1 ear warmers, 1 mittens. So it's summer. It's not like I need it to be any warmer or colder. 1 crocheted triceratops, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 washcloths. So what I'm really doing and saying here is finish it February. Why don't we just all sit down and pick up those little objects that we've got that really just need those tiny finishing off things. Sometimes it's blocking, sometimes it's just stitching things up or darning in the ends that we do tend to put off. I know I do anyway. I have a basket of them. I now have all of these that are now going to go into regular circulation, except Triceratops, who's going to be given away to my nephew very shortly. And yeah, so it doesn't take as long as you think sometimes. So finish it February, let's get going, and I'll see what else I can do. I'm hoping also to finish off a pair of slippers in the next couple of days. It's still January, by the way, when I'm filming this, so you'll see the slippers in the January video, hopefully. And I've got my Stephen West shawl. That is not going to, that won't be finished at February because it's up to like 300 odd stitches and it takes me an hour to do a row or something. It's kind of ridiculous, but we'll see how we go. That's going to be finished this year. No, it won't. It might be finished this year. So, happy knitting, and most of all, happy finishing off all your things. Bye.